Coming to you from the United States of America, this is Political Analytical. I'm your host, Eddie Hill, along with Rick Warren and Gordon Park. Join us as we give our opinion concerning everything dealing with politics. We don't hold back, so prepare for a no-nonsense approach to the news, and no, we don't care about your feelings. Uncensored and no sugarcoating. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Political Analytical. I'm your host, Eddie Hill, along with my other hosts, Rick Warren and Gordon Park. Welcome, everybody.
How you doing, bud?
Doing good, doing good. Gordon?
How's Gordon?
I'm doing all right. It's been a quiet Easter. Happy Easter to everybody out there.
That's absolutely correct. Happy Easter to everybody. We're glad to be on here. We're glad everybody's going to be able to join us tonight. And we decided we're going to see a little bit about what's going on right now in this political world of hell that we're all currently living in. Crazy shit going on right now, especially with the border situation and everything happening. It's incredible with the way everything's headed and the way our rights are slowly being stripped away from us. Rick Warren, what do you have for us now as far as in the political world?
Oh my gosh. I wanted to talk to you Texas boys because you guys are all the fame, so to speak, of what's happening in your state, gentlemen. You're seeing a border crisis beyond imaginable and even beyond description of what is happening on your border.
Oh, without a doubt.
And you guys, I'm including everybody in Texas, are footing the bill for this right now. You guys are paying the price for what's happening on the border and the crisis that is developing. And your governor, I applaud him with all due respect. He is asking that Biden now chip in and help pay for this crisis that has evolved from him himself. His answer, though, was something I couldn't believe. Gordon, you're going to love this. It said on right now, as of tomorrow morning, aliens will get yearly renewable amnesty and social security cards. And that allows them to stay in Texas for as long as they want to until they can go through the process for asylum. And even if it takes multiple years, they will be there. What say you, gentlemen?
Gordon?
I don't know that I want to start my night out with what I have on my mind that I really want to say about this.
You need to start it out.
Go for it.
There are... Fuck that. I'm sorry.
Jack, tell us what you really feel.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the language. I'm sorry for, putting that out there within the first 5 minutes of this show, but fuck that. I have a 27-year-old who's living on his own. I have a 16-year-old that I'm trying to get through high school and get through college. I have a house that I'm trying to build. I have my own bills that I need to pay. I don't have an extra $2,000 or $3,000 a week, a month, a year to spend paying for these illegals. Why do we call them illegals? Because they are here illegally. Now, I'm not the smartest man in the world, and I've never claimed to be. But if I did something illegal, then I would have a shitstorm rain down on my head. When we do something that we're not supposed to do at work, we have a shitstorm rain down on our heads. Why are we having this conversation? Why is it that the people in Washington cannot come from their quiet little corners and come down here and see how we are living, see what is going on? I am sick and tired of people who are 1,000 miles away governing and telling us what we have to do in our state when they don't have a fucking clue what's actually going on.
Well, let me tell you what's going on. They're being paid. They're being well taken care of for doing things illegally. Unlike if we do something wrong, we're going to pay the price as far as jail time or fines. Instead of fines, we're paying their fines for doing the wrong thing. But you got to understand, like was said the last time, don't hate the players, hate the game. Because the game is what's causing all this. These are people that are reacting to an invitation given by our illustrious president in order to come into the United States and get all these benefits, where you and I as American citizens work our butts off all our life and we don't even get near anything of what these other people are getting.
Eddie, let me put a little icing on top of the cake here as far as what my research showed and what is actually going on in your state right now. They were interviewing some of the migrants, as they called them, and they noticed that they had cell phones, that they had clothing. They weren't sweaty. They weren't dirty. They weren't anything. They were well taken care of. They asked one of the Nicaraguan, and I repeat, Nicaraguan migrants there at the border, and they come across the border, and he sat down beside a border patrol truck waiting to be taken to a goddamn facility. And they asked him, what do you think of the United States? He was given within the first half hour or hour that he was there. It's called an interim notice of authorization. And what that does is allow him and any others that's in that group or any others coming across right now as we speak. This interim notice of authorization is a parole, and that they can apply for asylum, and that it could take multiple years for their cases to be heard in court. And it is coming out of government taxpayer benefits, and they're qualified for government jobs.
Wow. That's incredible. And what about the people that were coming into the United States legally? Did these people just bypass and shoot past all the people that were trying to do it the right way? I mean, what's the deal with that? And how would you feel if you were one of these people trying to enter the United States legally and you had all these people going past you by the thousands and gaining entry, and you're still stuck out there trying to do things the right way? What are you going to end up doing?
Exactly.
Well, I just quickly glanced at some numbers. January 20th to the end to January 31st, it was only about 9,000 illegals made it through. February 1st to February 28th, 96,000 illegal immigrants came through.
Yep.
March 1st to March 31st, little over 132,000 have come through our border, across the border. And we are now putting them up in facilities in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Talked to a gentleman today who works for the DOD, and is a friend of mine. And he said that they are setting aside barracks on Air Force bases for kids that are being dropped off at the borders.
Is it just for children or is it for adults as well?
It's for adults and for children, but it's primarily for kids.
Because let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to be bringing all these adults in, children not so much, but the adults are going to be coming in and they're going to be spreading that COVID to our military as well.
Exactly. Gentlemen, I also will say this, that within the last 2 to 3 weeks, there has been an influx of buses and people coming across the border. They're in 18-wheelers, they're in RV campers, they're in pickups, they're in station wagons, whatever they can get to ride in. And they're coming up I-35, right through Texas, right through Oklahoma, straight into Kansas, in the heart of America itself, and are being dropped off by the hundreds at different stations, safe houses, if you will. There are actually safe houses being offered by other people so that they can have a place of shelter and a place to stay illegally here in the United States of America. And this is right in the heartland of America, gentlemen.
Absolutely. Now, Tom made a good point. He said, but what do you classify as children? Because now they have 17 and 18-year-olds classified as children, which technically are adults.
In the state of Texas, 17 years old, and you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but 17-year-old is classified as an adult, correct, Eddie?
Mm-hmm.
So now we have 17 and 18-year-olds that are technically adults, but they're being classified as children. I mean, my stomach has been sick all day thinking and talking about this with different folks. Where's the stop? Where does this all end?
That's a good question.
When are we going to put a stop to it? Because it's not going to be the people who are in the big cities that have to deal with this. The bigger cities, Dallas, in Texas, Dallas, Austin, they have homeless problems. They have people living in homeless tent cities in the median of the highway on I-35. They have living in bridges. You cross tent cities all over the place in Dallas, in Houston, in Austin. They're all over. These are going to be the rural people that are affected by this. These are going to be the people who, the rancher who's got 2 teenage daughters and blast a coyote away because he's trying to rape his daughter. And then he's going to get prosecuted for a hate crime for trying to defend his home against an illegal.
Now, Tim Howard,
regardless of what his action was.
Yeah, Tim Howard says we have FEMA camps all over the United States. Ship them there. Tim, that's actually for re-education camps for people like us, you know, to get us to kind of like fall in line. Yeah. So, yeah, you know, that's not going to happen. And then we've got Darren says, I think the FEMA camps are for citizens who give a damn. You got that right. Just what I just said there, Darren.
Yep.
I
want to bring up a definition here. Gordon, I want to get your opinion on what you think and how you react to this. Define to me what a sovereign nation is.
A sovereign nation is a nation.
Sovereign nation.
Just off the top of my head, a sovereign nation is a nation or is a community of people who set up their own government on their own land and have their own borders.
That is exactly right. Gentlemen, as we speak on this show right now, we have countries, we have continents that are laughing at the United States of America because we are no longer a sovereign nation. We are divided down the middle, left and right. We are divided by race. We are divided by war. We are divided by the very people that we hold accountable. But there's no accountability at this point or this juncture, gentlemen. I wonder where I wonder where the sovereignty is going to come back, or how it's going to come back, where we can be a government for the people and by the people.
Hey, you want to read what Tom put on there? He's got quite a bit, and I don't have my glasses with me. So if you'd care to read that out, please.
Who? You want me or Rick to do it?
Either one.
Go ahead, Gordon.
If this was an authentic crisis, we would have the proper compassion. But since this is manufactured by the political class on the left, you would think first the most responsible thing to do with children is to find their family, put them back with their family in their country they came from. That's the right and proper thing to do. But because they are used as pawns and the political class cares less for their life, just a show for them, this won't stop. Well, I can tell you this much. If it doesn't stop, it's going to get to the point to where the farmers and ranchers are going down on the southern borders are going to start stopping it themselves.
I talked to some people earlier this morning, and they are seeing people come across the borders as families. And what's surprising about the whole damn thing is the fact these kids that are with them will come over for a little while, but then they'll go back. They're being used 3 and 4 times, 5 times with different people coming across the border as being, quote, family. And that's how the cartel is making money.
Yeah. And I just, I have a soft spot in my heart for kids. I do. But James Lineweber has a point that the kids are showing up with paper, pieces of paper in a plastic bag with contact information for the family that they have somewhere, supposedly here in the country. And I would follow up on that. If they do have family and they're not here properly, then I reunite the kids and the parents or that family on a bus headed south. That's
I
it.
agree. Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yep. On to other news, gentlemen. I have in my possession here a note that says that we've been to war for 20 years now, since 2001. It is time for our troops to come home. Under Trump, we were making that effort to go ahead and consolidate and bring troops home. But right now, it's going the opposite direction. We have 20 years of war. We have 20 years of death. We have 20 years of war-torn families on every nation, on every continent, even the USA. All families are being torn apart about this. And we have 20 years of cost and commitment. And right now, gentlemen, I see no resolution.
The war that we're fighting in Afghanistan is a remake. It's a stupid sequel, for lack of a better expression. We got our asses handed to us in Vietnam. So to show how much we learned from our history, we're doing it again. Russians got their asses handed to them in the 80s in Afghanistan, and nothing has changed. We're doing the same thing. We're beating our head against the same wall. We need to stop this. We need to bring our troops home. We need to quit messing around over there, reunite our families, and be done. We need some place to stage 250,000 American troops. No problem. I know a place. I know a place where we can put them all. And we can stop the influx of people coming across the border.
And that's what we actually need. If we're going to move our troops around, let's move them where we can actually stop these people. But see, here's the problem, Gordon. That's not part of the plan. That's not part of the big reset. That's not part of
Bingo.
the reset. That's not part of the one world government, the one world order. See, and because of that, they're not going to do the right thing. They're not going to do the smart thing. They're doing everything they can in order to trash the United States and put us into the dirt. And we're the laughing stock of the world right now. And we're going to remain that way as long as the Democratic Party remains in power.
But at some point, we have to finally say enough is enough. So my question to you guys is, what is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back?
Well, here's the other problem with that is we've got everybody and their grandmother saying now Republicans and Trumpsters and patriots, we don't want to be like the rest. We don't want to go and burn and pillage and tear down things and destroy stuff. We have to do this the proper right way. The problem is that the proper right way isn't getting us anywhere. We're not getting shit for doing the right thing and behaving ourselves. But the minute we step out of line, it's going to look like we're just a crazy mob, and that's what they're trying to avoid. So what do you do in a case like that?
How many years did we negotiate and bargain and try to do things right with England?
Not very long.
No, it's longer than you think.
You mean during the revolution or what?
Yeah.
Oh, hell. That lasted 6-7 years on that war. I may be wrong. I'm not sure. But on that note,
let's look at what happened in Europe. Darren brought up a good point about when with Europe, when it flooded, they flooded it with immigrants. Look at all the killings, the rapes, the sexual assaults, all the thefts, everything that occurred in Europe, in Germany. There's places right now in Germany the Polizei won't even go to. There's places in England, in the UK, that you won't find a Bobby in there. You won't find anybody going through there unless they are requested and allowed to enter. What kind of shit is that? You're in another country, but yet you can tell the police when they can and can't go in. It's like these little little bullshit, little town type things that these idiots were trying to make around Washington. Oh, no one can come in unless we allow it. Kiss my ass.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Gentlemen, we have another thing coming up here with our illustrious president, as Eddie alluded him to be. I have other words for that mother chicken, but anyway, as of tomorrow morning, Russian troops are massing on the Ukrainian border after knowing and finding out that Biden has given weapons to Ukraine. Isn't that lovely to hear?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that just what we need? Isn't that what we just need?
Yeah, Russia's going to take over Ukraine, no doubt. They've been trying to get it back for a long time. Now they got a spineless jellyfish as a president of the United States, and they're going to take full advantage of that and get the Ukraine back. The Ukraine is going to become part of Russia once more.
I believe
yeah,
so.
it will. And we're going to stand there with our thumb in our ass.
Yes, we are. Because that's what Biden plans on doing. He's letting this whole thing fall down around him. He's doing it on purpose. It's for that great big reset. It's for that one world government. And he's trying to make it happen as quickly as he can before 2022.
And
he's doing a damn good job.
And I was listening to this afternoon to a Mr. Mike Huckabee. I think you gentlemen might know who he is. He was relating to on his show how under Biden's taxes, under this new proposal for Americans. Okay, we're supposed to like this, gentlemen. We're supposed to take it like men, right? Under Biden's taxes, American businesses will be taxed higher than the communist China's businesses to pay for his infrastructure and everything that's going on now. $2 to $3 trillion is being proposed for this damn infrastructure, And that's, if you don't know how big of numbers a trillion is, there's 12 damn zeros after that. He's proposing $2 to $3 trillion just spent on the infrastructure of America, but cannot come up with a viable scenario that's going to be presentable to the American people and be transparent of where the actual money is going to be sent.
And see, that's the thing. If you look at that bill that we're sitting quietly by and having fed to us with a sledgehammer, if you look at the infrastructure bill, they're selling it as it's going to help American commerce. So any American company that takes part in that commerce is an idiot. Because for every dollar that you get from that, because American companies are going to have to get some money from it, for every dollar that they get from it, they're going to have to pay back 3. So
Wow.
do the math. That's like going and buying a $30,000 car and paying back almost $300,000.
Right. Oh, the percentage rate. Yeah. Outstanding, people. Outstanding. Let's go ahead and pay for it. Come on. I want more.
But don't worry about it because we don't have to pay for it. Our grandkids are going to have to pay for it.
Yeah. And that's what's sad, gentlemen.
Their grandkids.
That's what's sad.
We're writing checks for future generations.
And see, and they're not done yet. Wait till we get that great tax hike. And they're talking right now also about that marriage deal that it's like a penalty, like a marriage penalty, which will be in there. So if let's say you've got a married couple, okay, and they're filing separately, and each one of them are making, let's just throw a number out there, $200,000 a year, which would be an outstanding number, by the way. But let's just say they're making $200,000 a year each. Okay, if they file jointly because they're married, then it's going to knock it up to the $400,000 tax bracket, and they're going to get nailed heavily in taxes. Okay, let's say there's a death in your family. There is going to be a death penalty as well. So you're going to be penalized and taxed for dying. So anything that you give to your kids when you pass is going to be taxed. You cannot leave this earth without not only taking your last breath, but giving Uncle Sam your last penny. These are things that they're doing right now. People are no longer going to be able to be married. They're no longer going to be able to die. They're no longer going to be able to even go to the gas station without severe penalties. And they're talking not only on a gas tax and a gas hike, which by the end of all this, I'm sure we're going to be paying around, $7, $8 a gallon. But our illustrious roadway dude, I forget what his name is, that was running. He's planning on, check this out, taxing you per mile.
Mr. Bettigoo? Is that his name? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he's going to tax you per mile.
I get ill when I hear his name. I really do. And a lot of other names. Gentlemen, I have something here that I wanted to bring up. Probably over a month ago, Eddie and I and everybody that's on the paranormal page, I had been in contact with a person in San Antonio, Texas, and I've been in contact with people in Houston, Texas. They are members and outstanding followers of the Satanic Temple in Texas, Houston, and all over the United States. These people have a following that is astronomical and very, very powerful. They are now suing Mr. Gordon and Mr. Eddie, your state, Texas, saying that as we file this suit against Texas, citing child sacrifice is a religious right to them. And that's happening in your state right now.
Wow.
Yes.
So they're willing to sacrifice the kids. Well, we know where they can find a whole shit ton of them, but that's neither here nor there. But here's the problem. Okay. We have groups like that are so far out there. They're actually going to try and pass a lawsuit like that. That at one point in time, I would have said, there's no way. They're freaking stupid. It's crazy. It'll never pass. Now, gentlemen, I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure they're going to say, oh, y'all guys are nuts. Forget it. This is a frivolous lawsuit, whatever the case might be, go, piss off. I don't see that happening anymore, gentlemen. People are so messed up, so jacked right now that I don't see some of these lawsuits just going away. And that's absolutely absurd. Who's going to allow a child to be sacrificed because it's a religious thing, normally? But today's not normal. Today is not normal.
Very true.
Can you do me a favor and read Thomas's first, or actually read the two from Thomas that he has, and then we'll get to the next one with
Who's that now?
Can you read Thomas's quotes that he put on the chat, and also Danielle's?
Sure. Yeah. Consider this. This is from Thomas. Consider this. Have you seen those countries in Africa that have prices on things that say 1 million, and you have to give them 1 million, which is a stack of about 6 inches of bills that look like dirty newspaper? That's what this country will be soon. And another comment he has from Thomas says, the only way the left will make this country the way they want it is to break it. And they're doing a damn good job so far. Danielle says, what the F? We already pay taxes on our vehicles, not only when we buy them, but also when we renew our registration. We pay taxes on gas. We pay taxes on each mile to drive. Come on. That's
right. And that's where they're heading with all this, ladies and gentlemen. So be prepared. We are going to be paid for we're going to be taxed for every mile that we drive, according to the Biden administration and this other knucklehead, however you pronounce his name there, Rick.
Buttigieg.
Yeah, that one. And so old Booty, and I'm not saying that lightly. He's got plans, and he's going to be taxing the shit out of everybody. So prepare. Gordon, what's your thoughts on all this?
I want to go ahead and address the last thing that Rick talked about. And I want to tell these satanic people that think it's okay to sacrifice a child, send me an invite when you're going to do it. I want to see how many of you fuckers make it out of that building alive, because I guarantee you that kid will. You don't mess with kids. You don't mess with kids. So I want to encourage them to send me an invite. And it may cost me my life. And I don't care. But if you have enough balls to invite a pissed off Texan to a child sacrifice, I'd love to see you fucking try. Because there ain't enough of you in this world to keep me from keeping that kid safe. Not enough of you.
Amen, Gordon. And I don't think it's just
I like that.
I think it's all over. There's plenty of us out there, believe me.
I like that. I do. I wanted to bring those topics up, gentlemen, because this is the act and the play that's going on right now in front of us. And I wanted to portray this because these are strong individuals that are playing this game. These are people with power. These are nations that are in danger. This world is in danger. Our United States, as we once knew it, is in danger. And I'd like to find out from the people that we're talking to right now, I'd like to know what maybe your resolution might be. How do we band together? How do we take control? How do we take back what was once ours? Because you're going to have to make a choice one of these days, just like every one of us on this program already has. There's going to be a line in the sand that's going to be drawn, and you're going to have to make a choice. And I'd really like to know what your resolution is going to be once the fire starts coming down. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I really truly believe, and I say this with all, I don't want to see it, but I say this with all concern. I truly believe that there's going to become a civil war within the United States once again. That's just my feeling. I may be wrong, and God, I hope I am. But if I don't know. I just have that feeling that they're going to push the American patriots so far to where we are going to see an action within the United States of this America on our soil.
Honestly, I don't see any way around it, Rick. I wish I could. I wish I could say that people are going to, get smarter. But I just don't see it happening. I really don't. And it's a shame because the United States was once so proud and so strong. And now it's a fight between us to even keep the United States the United States. But I can guarantee you when that line is drawn in that sand, I can tell you where I'm going to be. I'm going to be stepping across that line. And I'm going to be stepping across extremely serious because I'm not going to be playing games with this shit. This is too important. Our forefathers fought and died to protect what we have as the United States of America. And for us to sit here and stand by while it deteriorates right before our eyes, I mean, it's totally nuts to sit here and watch that happen. But the problem is, like I said before, the first time somebody stands up and says something, all of a sudden we're the bad guys. Because why? We are Trumpsters. We are Republicans. We are far righters. We are not only the patriots, but we're the patriots on the wrong side. I mean, come on, people. Get a grip. The United States is the United States for a reason. We have lasted this long for a reason. We have the finest military. We have the finest economy, or at least we did. We had a lot going for us. And now we have absolutely nothing except a fight on our hands with our own people. And Christopher John says, I'm sure you can tell I'll be. I have a feeling I know where you'll be, John. I have a good feeling. And I have a feeling Darren's going to be leaving New Zealand to come over and give us a hand as well. But like he says right here, Darren, once they have our guns, it's game over. Do not give up weapons, ammo, or anything. Do not give it up. Fight tooth and nail. That is our constitutional right to have that.
I know there's many gentlemen out there and ladies too. I'm not going to exclude you because you are part of fighting America too. They're in the Navy, they're in the Marines, they're in the Army. And every one of those people that I just mentioned that's in those military people and those military groups, they took an oath. They took a freaking oath to defend the Constitution of the United States. And what does that oath say? From foreign and domestic.
All
and
enemies.
I know all the people that I know are going to be there, and they're going to uphold their part of taking back this, our America.
Well, I can tell you flat out, I know a lot of police officers, sheriff's deputies, state troopers, you name it. Nobody that I know, nobody is going to try and go to your house and disarm you, no matter what anybody says to them. I can tell you that flat out. Those are orders that will not be followed.
I have to agree. I've talked to many of the veterans. I have a lot of veteran friends, and they tell me we will not bow. We will not give in to what's happening to this United States of America. And like I said before, gentlemen, this isn't a race issue. It isn't brown. It isn't white. It isn't black. It isn't yellow. This is American patriot. This is what we have left to give to our children. This is what we have left to give to their children after we are gone. And I want them to be proud of the fact that we didn't go lame on them, that we didn't say, oh, I'm going to turn my back when I'm needed the most. I want them to be proud when they say they stood up.
You know, I go back to the question I asked earlier. What will be the straw? Because right now, we're just taking it. And we're taking it, and we're taking it, and we're taking it. What will be the final straw? Is it our guns?
By now, our forefathers would have already been shooting, Gordon. I
Oh, I
truly
know.
believe that.
Oh, I know. They already would have. They would have on the day after the election, the week after the election. They would have already had militias marching. And I'm concerned if we're sitting here and we're talking about having to continue to take it and continue to take it, what is actually going to be the final straw for us? What is it? More taxes. It's just money. What is it
Daniel,
going to take for us to finally
Daniel,
say,
straw is full bent, Gordon.
but
it
it's
just
not,
hasn't broke yet.
but it's not broke yet. That's my point. We're all just sitting here and taking it. When is it going to be enough? When are we going to finally stand up and say, fuck y'all, and move on this?
I remember our shows, how long ago, gentlemen? 6, 7, 8 months ago, when the discussion was brought about that said there was going to be blood in the streets. And a lot of people said, oh, no, there won't. No, it won't go that far. Oh, we're a gentle nation. We're a kinder, gentler nation. We won't allow that to happen in the United States.
Yeah, right.
Ladies and gentlemen, in front of your own damn eyes, we saw people beat to death. In front of your own damn eyes, we saw businesses burned. We saw streets taken over by hooligans and assholes that could care less about your family or mine.
While
go ahead, Eddie.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And as we sat there and we talked about that, gentlemen, I said there was going to be blood in the streets, and so did you, gentlemen, too. And some of the other people were like, oh, no, it's not going to happen. But we're at that point now. We've seen death by an American patriot, a veteran who got shot in the freaking neck at the Capitol building, and not one damn thing has been done about it. Her name is Ashley, by the way.
You know, and as we stand by and we watch all this, it becomes less and less shocking to everybody. At first, I remember when the first riot started out, and we were like, ooh, look at this. The police are going to kick the crap out of these knuckleheads. What happened? Nothing.
Stood down.
We were all in shock because they were ordered to stand down.
Yep.
The takeover that was taking place, we were all shocked. Police were ordered to stand down. It's going to take, I don't know what, gentlemen, to stop all of this or to make people act. But the more of this that we watch on TV and the fake news, and by the way, you were talking about all the businesses burning, Rick. I got to throw this in there. And you've got news reporters standing there with fake news going, it's mostly a peaceful riot, while he's got a building on fire behind him and a car burning.
Yep.
You know, it's, you know, how can, and people are believing this shit. I mean, how can people believe something that somebody says when they're watching it with their own eyes? Look at all the killings in Chicago. It's not police killing blacks or Asians or anything else. It's blacks on blacks. Now the Asians are being attacked. For what? We are all human beings in this world. We are all people. You know? I mean, I've dealt with the good. I've dealt with the bad. You know, but we're all human beings. Yeah, we've got some that are, you know, troublemakers, and they don't need to be loose on the street by any means. But, you know, it's sad. It's really sad to see this happening and see people accepting it, accepting the fact that businesses are going to be burned. Even like as the court trial goes on right now, people are boarding up businesses because they don't know what the outcome's going to be, and they're afraid of what's going to transpire after the court ruling's over on Mr. I Can't Breathe.
Yeah.
You know, and it's becoming more accepted. I mean, people are accepting this as a way of life. This is not a way of life, people. It is not. This is not the America that we grew up in and that we fought. Our forefathers fought for. The rest of us had joined the military and have given our sacrifices to this country. This is not what it's all about. And people are accepting this as a norm. I don't get it.
It's sad. The other day, our son come down from Wichita, Kansas. And Wichita, Kansas is primarily the center of the United States. I mean, not geographically, but we call it that. As he come down to come pick us up to go do some scouting on some land, he got out, and on his hip was his 9mm. As I walked to his truck, my wife and I both carried 9mm. I don't think I ever remember a time in history, gentlemen, that I felt scared and bothered enough and concerned that I needed a damn 9mm just to drive around. But this is what the world's coming to, gentlemen. Ladies, it is best that you find a gun and learn how to use it. There's plenty of people that can teach you, because sometimes calling 911, they won't get there fast enough.
No, they won't. And real quick, Tom put out here, I believe the youngsters in high school and middle school will grow up to fight the battle that we failed to do so for them. Probably not. And
don't
the
think
reason
so.
I say probably not is because they are being taught a different way of life than what we were brought up. They're not being brought up with the thinking that the United States is the greatest place. They're being brought up thinking that the United States is a piece of shit and it sucks.
Yep.
They are not even being taught to respect the American flag. They're not being taught to respect the American ways. They're being taught that everybody in America is some sort of conservative asshole that walks around deserving everything that we have. You know, we have what we have because we fought for it and people have died for it. That's why we have what we have. We have that freedom. And the freedom is something that can't be replaced. And you won't know what you're losing as far as freedom until it's been taken away from you. And you don't have a voice anymore. You don't have a way to survive or to live without the government's approval or say so. It's already happening with healthcare. Look at the insurance companies. They have a say whether you live or die. And that's even if you're lucky enough to have insurance. So what does this tell you? The kids aren't going to fight a battle that we failed to do because they're being taught a different America. They're being taught a different way of living. And they're being taught to hate us as Americans. That's what all this is about. It is a reset. And they're not going to know any other way unless we take it back over and they learn the proper way that America is supposed to be. And they have that respect of the American flag and what it stands for. Gordon?
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree, Thomas, and agree with Eddie. It's all about taking, and I'm a huge proponent of personal responsibility. Till parents start taking the personal responsibility enough to teach their kids what the flag truly means, what the flag truly stands for, what people have fought and died for. And we have monuments in Washington devoted to people who died just in Vietnam. We have a guy in the military who marches at the tomb of the unknown soldier to honor those people that we couldn't recover and we don't know what happened to in all the wars. And until this younger generation gets a grasp, they finally get to understand what that means, we're going to be in the same boat. The battles that we would have to fight, that they would have to fight, the kids who understand that now are so few and far between. It's unbelievable.
They're outnumbered.
Vastly outnumbered. And I'll give you a perfect example. Quarterback of the old quarterback of the Saints, Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm.
When Mr. I Can't Breathe came out and he made a statement in support of the police department, he was completely bashed by the entire rest of his team as a direct result of that. And he had to back down. There was talks that he was going to be forcibly retired or traded because of a comment.
Yep.
Now, I'm not a celebrity. Well, I am a celebrity in my own mind, but only in my own mind. And I can tell you that I have never said anything that I would ever retract. I don't pull my punches. I say what I mean. And if I was getting paid $150 million a year or over 5 years to throw a football, my attitude wouldn't change. I'm going to speak the truth as I see it. And if you don't like it, I don't care. I have people that I went to high school with. One of them's a college professor, and they're teaching their children that tolerance is the best way to do it, and just sit back and relax, and it'll eventually die down. Just give them their time and their space. Things will go back to normal, but guess what? Things are not going back to normal.
No.
Honestly,
Things are not getting better.
Place, they need to get the shit slapped out of them so that they understand not to do it again. These are like a bunch, and Pelosi's like the worst. I'm sick of that bitch. I'm seriously can't stand it. And I know that James Toops loves her, but I'm sorry. It's one of those things. And if James was here, I'm sure he'd have a few choice words. Rick, can you go ahead and read the last comment that was made on there by Thomas?
Yeah, it's never always the majority that rules. Sometimes the minority stand up and makes their cases appropriately. So changes people. I don't know what that other one says.
So changes people's ways and their thoughts.
As far as Civil War, damn, I'm glad. I'm in Texas. I live in Texas, but I hope there's no Civil War. But if there is one, I will be there.
Amen, Tom.
Yep. I'll be there as well. And I'll be on the front lines.
Daniel says, hey, he's not on here to defend himself, Eddie. Talking about James.
Yeah, because James has never taken a shot at any of us when we're not here to defend ourselves. No, never. Not James. No.
James, when you listen to this, we love you, man. And we're taking this cheap shot at you because, well, we can.
We can.
And, and we're not going to pass up that opportunity. So, there you go. But yeah, so I mean, think about it, gentlemen. This is just it's a big shit show going on. And I hate to say it, but our hour is coming up and we need to start doing our last thoughts. We were at 57 minutes. And we need to close up, but we'll start off with Gordon.
I'm going to reiterate something that I said earlier, and then I'm going to answer Tom's question. The reiteration is that don't fuck with kids. And I'm going to leave that very alone at that. If you have any questions about what I mean, go back in the podcast and take a listen to it and you'll understand what I mean. But don't let me find out you're hurting kids. That's number one. Number two, who would we consider the enemy if a civil war were to start up? Who would we consider the enemy? Well, I can tell you right now, the people that I consider to be the enemy would start at the southern border. If you're trying to get here illegally, that's your public enemy number one. That's got to be closed off. That's got to be cinched off. That's got to be burned off like a bleeding artery. Number two, if you're out there burning cities and you have Antifa on the forefront of your brain, you are an enemy. And if you're packing and you point anything you're packing at me, be prepared to catch it back. Because if I can get to you and take it away from you, I'm going to beat you with it. If not, then you are considered an enemy. And then we've got a clean house in Washington. We have to take everyone down to the bare bones. We close off our borders. We shut down everything. Nobody comes in, nobody comes out. Our airports, everything's grounded until for 30 days. Stock market doesn't even open for 30 days. And then we have 2 brand new lawyers who just passed the bar, one for the defense, one for the plaintiff, one from Stanford, one from Oxford, whatever, 2 of the Ivy Leagues. Both of them pleaded case for each and every single politician. We look at public record. We look at voting records. We look at everything that they have done to this country. And if you're found guilty, you get a one-way, luxurious, all-expense-paid trip to Gitmo. If you're found innocent, thank you for your service. You've been here for 63 years. Go retire somewhere. And then we have elections again. Then we reopen our country. But I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. We cannot do anything to help anyone else out until we clean our own house. And we've got to clean our own house.
Yes, we do.
Until that straw breaks that Danielle was talking about, until it breaks, we cannot clean our house.
Absolutely. Rick?
There's an old Native American proverb that talks about when there's only one bee. That's not very many. He isn't noticed. But if you go back to the hive and you disturb that hive, you're going to see thousands and thousands and thousands of bees come out and defend their home territory. And that's when the number is the greatest. I truly believe we have those kind of people that's on our side that will come out, that will defend what we have as America and the way of life that we know it and we love it. Because I will tell you, I will say the same thing with Gordon and Eddie. If we lose our freedom, we won't get it back. We won't get it back because that time and juncture, they will be too strong and we will be too weak. It is up to us as the American people and the people that I'm talking to right now to sit there and say enough is enough and unite and band together as the true American backbone that we know we are and should be. I'm guaranteeing I'm counting on you. I'm counting on everyone that's on the chat room listening to this program. I'm counting on you to be there with me shoulder to shoulder because I'm going to need you. Eddie's going to need you. Gordon's going to need you. All of us are needed to take back this America.
Amen, Rick. And I said it before, and I'm saying it again. We are coming apart at the seams, people. And unless we hold this country together somehow, it's going to come apart. I know as far as the political arena, I know they're doing everything they can with, within the Republican Party and so forth and so on. I know President Trump is working off the grid, trying to get things make things happen. But it all boils down to this. They're going to sit there and take away little by little, not big chunks. They're not going to take away big chunks. They're going to take away little by little so you don't feel it, so you don't see it. It's like a cancer. It's like a disease that's spreading within our nation. That's slowly but surely taking away our rights as American citizens. And if people don't wake up and they don't see this and they don't put a stop to it, it's eventually going to take over like a major cancer and it's going to kill us. It's going to kill each and every one of us because we are letting it happen. We are allowing this. We're not seeking any type of strong therapy to fix it. We're not being aggressive to fix it. It's like being told you have that cancer and you're just kind of kicked back going, okay, well, I don't know how much time I have, but I'm going to enjoy the time I do. And I'm just not going to think about it. That's exactly what's taking place within America. I had a conversation with my daughter today, and we were talking about what they're learning in school and what they're being taught. And so many times they say nobody stands for the flag during the national anthem. If they even have the national anthem, at times they don't. All that's being pulled away from our students, our kids, our children, our grandkids. And it's a sad fact, but they're reprogramming all of them. And if we don't change the way they think at home, they're going to grow up being one of these Antifa bastards running around, going crazy, burning and stealing and screwing shit up and assaulting people and the innocent. I saw on TV the other day where I believe it was a 70-something-year-old Asian woman was attacked by this great big Brutus looking black dude and kicked her, knocked her down. What did everybody do that was there? Nothing.
Watch it.
They watched. They even closed the door to a business where it happened just outside. Didn't try and help, nothing. Now, luckily, the guy got arrested. But this is the kind of thing that people are becoming desensitized to. They're seeing this stuff. They're allowing it to happen. They don't care. They just figure if they go off in their own little world, it didn't really happen. I couldn't have stood there and seen that. I'd have been all over that dude. And of course, I'd have been brutally attacked on media and news. You know, white dude jumps on this black guy. But you know what? I don't care. I know what's right. I know what's wrong. Okay. And you're not going to get away with shit like that with me. The elderly, our children, they're the ones that are going to suffer the consequences. Our grandkids. So keep that in mind. Wake up, open your eyes, see what's going on around you. And with that, I'm going to leave you until next Sunday on Political Analytical. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. We appreciate it. Thank you for being with us always. We love you guys. We thank you all for being with us. Please share this program on your page. Share it with everybody. Share the podcast. We appreciate the listener support. If you could share the podcast out, let's get Political Analytical out there where it gets heard, and we can get more listeners with us. Thank you so much, everybody. Once again, my name's Eddie Hill. Thank you for listening to Political Analytical with Rick Warren and Gordon D. Park. Take care, everybody.
Thank you and good night.
Appreciate you guys.